What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Hope everybody's having a great day or night whenever you're watching this. If you haven't knew, there's a lot of rumors about the Pelicans trying to trade up and get that number 3 pick in this coming draft next week. And I think there's a lot of truth behind that rumor. I think there's a very good odds that the Pelicans might actually make this trade. Obviously, if you haven't heard, number 1, that's Wemby. 2 is probably going to be Brandon Miller to the Hornets. 3 leaves Scoot Henderson, which the Pelicans will be trying to get. That's who they have their eyes on. That's what they want to do. And there's a lot of rumors that maybe trading Zion, which I think is wild. There's a lot of rumors maybe trading Brandon Ingram. All I know is ultimately the Pelicans want Scoot Henderson. I'm going to break down kind of the trade and how Scoot is as a player and what I think of it. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And if you enjoy this kind of content, please like the video. But let's start with Scoot and what kind of player he is, because I feel like a lot of people don't really know how good Scoot is. Now, the thing that most people that have seen Scoot Henderson play, they know hyper-athletic point guard, right? That's like the generic way of describing him, and I think that's doing him a disservice because while he is hyper-athletic, kind of Russell Westbrook-like, he's very, very crafty, very, very shifty in terms of in space, and then when he needs to get into the paint, very, very good finisher with both hands, but he's also excellent in the pick and roll, really, really nice passer, especially both hands. Kind of reminds me of John Wall in the way that he plays in terms of as a point guard, and when he gets in that pick and roll, he's not really like just one gear. He's very good at switching his gears and getting into different spaces and getting easier shots, but he also can absolutely break the rim if he has to. So you're getting an elite finisher, an aggressive finisher, but someone who also knows how to play in space and how to create better looks for his teammates, right? He's not really out of control a lot, which, you know, a lot of these young guards come in, they're very OC, but I think he's a little bit more dimmed down. He's a little bit more contained. Now, the one thing with him is he's not a great shooter. He's not going to, shoot the lights out. He's not Steph Curry. He's not, anybody like Trae Young that's going to be pulling from the logo a lot. But, he's a young guy. He has a decent looking form. The shot may take some time, but I think overall it'll get there. And I think that's what's so tantalizing about him is he's so athletic and he's so good with passing. Got a really good handle. He's such a good finisher. Pretty solid defender. He's not Marcus Smart, but he's not Trae Young. So, projects to be very good on that side of the ball. He's physically built, like he's NBA ready in terms of his physique, which a lot of these guards come in, they're not. So he's very, very tantalizing as a prospect, which I get why the Pelicans want him, or why any team wants him, really. So let me say this, whoever gets Scoot Henderson is going to get a really good player, and the trades that I think that are going to have, that could possibly happen for him, I understand why Portland wants to trade the pick. They're trying to give Dame one last shot, right? So you have to land a star with that, and the big rumor as of late is the Zion Williamson one. Now, Zion's been in the media and the media mill for the wrong reasons as of late. I'm not going to dive into them. If you want to, go ahead and check it out on Twitter or something like that. There's stuff for days that you can dig into on there. But I still think people are forgetting how good Zion really is. And yes, the health has been a major issue, which that's a huge deterrent, right? I get that. But they were the 1 seed when he was healthy last year. People are so quick to forget that. And Ingram wasn't even playing when he was doing on a rampage. He looked like an MVP player. Obviously, the hamstring goes out. He has a setback, and then the season falls apart. That all sucks, right? That's the main reason that the Pelicans are really even looking into breaking up Zion or Ingram is just because of the health issues. Those guys have never been able to stay on the court together the last 3 years. So obviously, that's a big problem. That's why I understand the rationale. Let me go. We got to figure something else out because we just keep doing the same thing over and over again and they keep getting hurt. So that's why they want to go get Scoot. But I just can't see Zion being traded at this point in time. I think he's still uber talented. The potential is still so great that I think you have to at least see it out. You just gave him a huge contract last offseason, I believe. So you can't just give up on it after 1 season. I think you have to try and see what this team looks like with Zion healthy. Now it is on him to stay healthy, of course. But I just don't see Zion getting traded. Now, if I'm Portland and New Orleans offers me Zion for that number 3 pick, deal. I'm hanging the phone up. Right there. That's it. Deal. Send it in. We're good. Let's do it. But I personally do not think the Pelicans will do that. Now, the one I do think the Pelicans would trade is Brandon Ingram, though. And I think B.I. is a really, really good player. He's one of my favorite players in the league. I'm a Laker fan. Watched him grow throughout his entire career thus far. But I still think, the issue with the Pelicans is the health. Ingram is no different than Zion in the sense that he misses a lot of games, and he has missed a lot of games. Now, you're thinking if you're the Blazers, why would we trade for any of these guys? You're saying that they're so injury prone and stuff like that. It's not necessarily that. It's more so that the little nagging injuries seem to kill them, and but when they do play, they're awesome. And I think if you're the Blazers and you're trying to get one guy to add to Dame to give yourself like a legit 1-2 combo, it's either Zion or Ingram, but I think Ingram is going to be the more likely one that gets traded. It's a guy that can give you 30 in the playoffs. So we've seen him do it. Seen him do it against the Suns a couple years ago. Obviously, you got to get there first, but he's a really, really good passer, can shoot from all levels, mid-range, lethal. Defensively, when he wants to play defense, he's very, very good using his length. But I just think that the more likely target that's going to get dealt from this Pelican situation is Brandon Ingram. If anybody gets traded, it'll probably be him. And it's like, it kind of sucks because I really would like to see what Zion and Ingram could do and could build and could become. But like when we've seen this injury stuff happen over and over and over again, eventually you got to change something up. And I think it's a pretty fair trade if you trade number 3 for Brandon Ingram. You can match salaries, figure out whatever you got to do for that. I'm not going to dig into all that, but I think that on the surface is good enough to get it done. And I think if I'm the Blazers, I take that deal because I'm getting a guy like Brandon Ingram who, when healthy, can give me 26 points a game with 6-7 assists and play an excellent off-ball role next to a guy like Damian Lillard. I think that would be really, really nice as a duo, and I think that does give them a shot, that's really all Portland wants is just to give Dame one shot, and I get it. And it's also Ingram's off the books in like 2 years. So contract-wise, the Pelicans may not even be able to keep him in a couple years, but you also reset your cap space a little bit if you're the Pelicans. You get a young, promising point guard to pair next to Zion or whatever, way you go with it. You get a young, promising point guard. I think for a lot of teams, they would like that opportunity. So you could be looking at a trio of like Scoot, CJ, and then either BI or Zion. And I think that's a really nice trio off the rip. I think having CJ there would also help Scoot because, CJ had a really rough start to his career, but figured it out. And then it's, having that leadership there is always so important for young players. If you don't believe it, look at the Rockets and all the issues they've gone through. Leadership was the main thing they looked for in Ime Udoka, and that's what they went and got, right? So I think it's undervalued part of the game. You don't need 10 vets on a team, but you need vets that know how to lead and can lead young guys and can really kind of groom them to be great players because the potential's all there. It's just about fulfilling that potential. So I think, getting Scoot on the Pelicans would be nice. I think that would be nice. It'd be cool. I don't know where it puts them in terms of like contendership, but it does give you like a soft reset where you can also like keep building towards something greater. So do you think the Pelicans will trade for Scoot Henderson? Do you think they're going to trade Zion? Do you think they're going to trade Brandon Ingram? I think Ingram's the more likely trade guy in this particular argument. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And if you enjoy this kind of content, please like the video. But I think the Pelicans can go a lot of different ways. And, a lot of people forget they were the 1 seed before Zion got hurt last year. So do with that what you will. I'm done.